Broadcasting from the confines of an abandoned radio station in the secluded apartment building of high strangeness. From the foothills of the Colorado Rockies, it's time for full disclosure of the topics they told us were off limits. Hey there, I'm Connie Willis. Tonight, warrior angels. Are you one? UFOs over Hawaii. Take a look up. Lots of them, and they're huge. Time now to turn off the lights and join me for another interesting evening of conversation, much needed education, and the chance that we might get a little closer to the truth of what lurks amongst us, and they do, and what is beyond. I'm Connie Willis, and this is Coast to Coast AM. And you are listening to Coast AM. Hello there, Connie Willis. How are you doing this Saturday night? You tired? You happy? You excited? You ready to go? I've got people tweeting me and texting me and sending nice instant messages, all ready to go. I'm ready for a nap. I don't know what it is. You ever just sometimes you go into work and you just feel like, oh man, I need a nap. I think we'll have to do a show on sleep or something, because there is a good time to wake up when you're sleeping and a wrong time to wake up, and it'll affect you for a long time. And what you're supposed to do is go back to sleep, and it could even be 2 minutes. It could be 10 minutes or 7 minutes or something like that, to where if you wake up in the right time, you feel better. And that's all you need. Kind of like the little cat nap, but I don't know. Maybe I need to do that. I'll be back. I'll see you in a minute. Anyway, I want to say hello to you, let you know where you can find me at conniewillis.com. I've got several shows that you can find me for personal shows. One of them is Blue Rock Talk. That's my community of Blue Rockers. We have a good time. We're all pretty close. We talk about a whole lot of things. It's a safe area for you to talk about whatever you want to talk about. And come on, we do all sorts of neat things. Bigfoot, and things beyond that, creepy hotspots, and it's a lot of fun. It is a membership. I hope you'll join. We have a lot of great people. It's people that you'll be friends with for a long, long time. And once you get in there, boom, you pretty much stay. We have a really good time. Another show called Connie After Dark. What that is just kind of more of an extension of talking. It's a virtual bar. We live stream for a couple hours, and what happens there stays there. So whether you have a drink with us while you're there or have some milk, whatever it is, it'll never be heard or seen again. It's totally archived for me only, or a court of law if needed. And then now it's Connie Willis, the podcast. And by the way, I want to say thank you very much for supporting that. There are so many of you listening, and I just want to say thank you. I mean, it just really started, and you guys are just absolutely amazing. So the latest, as you know, if you're listening to it, it's Connie Willis, the podcast. Those of you that are into the podcast at all, I mean, holy cow, you all know where to find them. You all listen to them 24/7. It's amazing to me. It's a whole nother world, and it's every radio personality's dream. It really, really is. But it is just done so well, and it's because of you guys. So thank you for doing that. And if you've been there, then you know that I've kind of done a little strategy here. I've tried something here and here, a little developmental thing. And just recently, we've been doing a series with Robert Treat, Deathbed Confession, Informant. And it's been a 22 episode session that has happened. And now I'm going to be talking to him again this weekend. We're going to, so a whole new phase. Those of you that have, there's been 50 billion questions. So we're going to try to answer them all for you. And then, so that'll be on the podcast. Get ready for that. So if you haven't, heard what he has to say of why aliens are here, what they're doing here and who they are, and that he's been involved with the elite and so on and so forth, all sorts of things. Well, catch up with it now so that you can hear the next phase that comes on. And then he's also going to be joining us on Blue Rock Talk, which is live streaming video. And there's where you can actually see him live, and that's up to him to be seen or not, right? Whether it's sunglasses or silhouette or whatever he decides to do. But that's where you can ask him questions yourself if you join the membership. So see, Blue rockers are always taken care of. So I hope that you'll do that, and that's how you do it. If you want more info, just go to conniewillis.com and you'll find all of that. And thanks for all the nice letters that you guys write. Very, very nice, very, very kind. So here's a lady, our guest tonight. We got a couple. By the way, I'll be on next week, and one of my good friends is going to be with us. By the way, this is Friday night. I'm looking forward to it. I just want to say it because it's TV's $1 billion man. You all have seen the guy before, and I'm so looking forward to it. I haven't worked with him in a long time, or next to him, I guess. I've never actually been on the air with him, but it'll be fun. It'll be fun. I'll just let you, I think you can look on the schedule now, and I think he's on there, but I'm really excited about that. And then tonight, James Gilliland, later of SETI, and the explosion of these incredible UFOs over Hawaii. I think you can go on the site and see some videos that he sent for us at coasttocoastam.com. But before that, we've got June Lundgren in, a very amazing lady that I was asking one of my friends that is an amazing remote viewer. And I was asking her if she had any ideas, months and months ago, of someone that she thought would be good on air for Coast to Coast, also any of my shows too. And she gave me a list of names, and this was like the top one. And I thought her name sounded familiar, and I was like, why is that? Well, she's been on with George Norrie before. And also, she's been at some of the events that George Norrie is at. So she's been invited to those. So, I'm like, okay, well, that sounds pretty solid. She's already got thumbs up everywhere. And I contacted her, and amazing. So if you've heard her before here on Coast or somewhere else, which most of you have, I don't know why I haven't. I mean, I knew the name was familiar, but I'm like, huh, what? Where was I for a while? But then when I saw her picture, I was, oh, yeah, I've seen her on a lot of different shows along the way. And you probably have too. If you go and check out her website, you're going to go, I've seen her. And she's got several of the websites. demonseer.com is one. June Lundgren author.com is one. And that's LUNDGREN. And also mystic.connections.org. So she's got a lot that she's done, and she's got a lot more to do. I can tell you that much. She's absolutely an amazing lady. When people do have, this is what you know of her, probably for the most part, when people need to rid of demons at all, she can do it, boom, like that from afar. Doesn't have to go. Just she can do it while she's on the phone with you. and then there's different types of demons, right? So she's, looking around, and that is her blessing in life, that she is able to just rid of them immediately. So we'll let her tell you more about that. But she's really here to talk about warrior angels and what they are and what they're doing and what's going on with them, if you've never heard of what they are. And I'm excited about this. So, again, she's a paranormal consultant. She does specialize in the negative entities, and she goes out with groups, or just, if you have a problem and you can get a hold of her, boom, she's going to take care of you. Also, it seems to go with all of this: psychic medium, animal communicator, healer, international author, of course, and also a nurse, which is perfect for this type of thing. But she's just working incredibly many hours. Poor lady, she never sleeps. She does come from a long line of psychic women, and she was mentored by her maternal grandmother. And that's where June learned at an early age how to use her gifts of mediumship and look into the future to help others. And she also has a best friend she works with a lot, and that's Archangel Michael. Buddies, pals, joke around, conversations. It's amazing. And she uses her ability to see, hear, communicate with these entities, remove them. I can just go on and on with the information that I know about her, and the stories that people have said too of how she's helped. But let's bring her in. June Lundgren, welcome again. to Coast AM. How are you?
I'm good. It's good to be here again.
Well, I'm happy that you found a little bit of time in between all of your demon destroying and nursing. Tell me a little bit about that nursing, because I know you are constantly working.
Yeah, I work internal medicine now, but I've worked in medicine for almost 48 years now. I'm working in a clinic setting instead of a hospital setting, which is where I started out, and I got my training in the military. So it's been a while, since '76.
And which service? Army, Navy, Air Force,
Oh,
Marine?
I started out spending 2 years in the Army. At that time, there were 2-year enlistments. And then I switched from Army to Air Force to get some more training for EMT, emergency medical tech. So I did that for 5 years. That was quite enough.
Yeah. How much does all of your abilities make a difference in your nursing?
It makes quite a difference because when I was working hospital work, I could see if there was an attachment or if there was a loved one that was with them. And a lot of times the loved one would tell me things that the patient wouldn't tell the doctor or anybody else. So it gave me some insight. Like a lot of times patients won't tell you the whole story about how something happened or how they're feeling. And usually it's the loved one that says, well, this is really how she's feeling. This is what really happened, which that helps me to give the doctor a little heads up. Not that he knows how I got there.
Okay. That's exactly what I was going to. You knew what I was thinking to ask you.
Yeah, because, they're men of science.
There you go. Yeah. Has any of them ever known that this is how you get some of the information and they're okay with it?
I worked for one doctor who was very much, he was an Adventist, practicing Adventist. And the first time I told him, he is the head doctor for like 10 different care facilities. And the first time I told him one of his patients was going to die, he's like, yeah, right, whatever. And the patient died.
Oh, geez. Oh.
And he's like, don't tell me, I don't want to know. After a couple of times, and it happened, he's like, don't tell me, I don't want to know. I'm like, okay.
You just think people would just learn from that and listen and be open to that, even when they see it.
Yeah,
What
they don't.
what do you do?
A lot of people don't want to know about anything. That's why people say, well, don't you just go to people without, if you're with somebody or you see somebody, don't you just stop them and tell them whatever? I'm like, no. I said, because not everyone is open to it. A lot of people either don't believe or don't want to know about anything. Like if their grandmother has a message for them, a lot of them don't want to even know that. They're dead, they're gone, that's it.
Wow. I'm always interested in it, but yeah, a lot of times you want to find one thing out, and then all these other things come in. You're like, no, I don't care. Don't waste my time. I've got an hour here at $35. Stop.
Yeah, right.
Quit. Tell Grandma to be quiet.
Right.
I'm trying to
I don't
talk
want
to
to talk
Uncle
to Grandma.
Jed.
I want to talk to Grandpa. Yeah. Okay. All right.
Well, Uncle Ted doesn't want to talk to you. Only
No,
Grandma.
sorry. Or you'll have
Darn it.
sometimes so they'll come to connect with one person in particular, and that one person doesn't have anything to say, or they've been reborn already. Then it's like, sorry, but they have nothing to say, or they've just been reborn, or whatever, and they don't want to hear that either because they want to talk to them.
Oh, well, they're now your great grandchild. Oh no.
Yeah, exactly. Or they'll say, I never knew my parents, or I never knew my mother or father. I'm like, it doesn't make any difference. I said, because, I had one gentleman, the father died at 3 years old. I said, it doesn't matter that that he died when you were 3. I said, he stays with you and watches. I said, he sees everything that you've accomplished, and the problems you're having or whatever. He has advice for you. Or you'll have somebody that's adopted, and of course they never knew their real parents. But it doesn't make any difference on the other side.
Well, when they have messages, are they always just unbelievable, like outstanding God-like messages? Or do you also sometimes they want to send like a message that's like a joke or something silly?
A lot of times it's not really godlike messages like everything's okay over here, don't worry about it. No, they don't. A lot of times it's like, I know you're going through this, and this is my advice to you, or you have this coming up, or I lost my ruby ring, and I can tell you now where it is. Go find it. That type of thing. It's just simple things. It's what the person needs to hear. Because usually if someone comes and they want to contact an individual, it's for a specific reason in mind. And they know what the reason is. And they'll respond to that. And a lot of times they'll have something that they want to know but don't want anybody to know that they want to know it, so to speak. So the Spirit will come through and say, well, this is what's going on, or they'll give me sometimes I'll get cryptic messages. I'm like, I don't know what this means, but you'll if you don't know what it means right now, you soon will. And 9 times out of 10, the person will say, well, I don't know what that's about. And then I get an email saying, oh, I remembered what it was about, or I found out what it was about.
And do you then write them back and say, well, I've already talked to 20 other people. I don't know what you're talking about anymore.
No,
I'm
I
sorry.
usually remember. Yeah, I usually remember because people are just,
That's good.
always something about each person that's memorable.
Okay. I'm kidding. I hope so. But okay. So, I love what we're going to talk about today, but I know that usually you're talking about being the demon seer. So let's definitely throw that out there and talk about that a little bit for people that have not met you or know who you are, which I think once anybody sees your picture, they'll go, oh, I've seen you. Because you've done a lot of shows, right?
Yeah, I've done a lot of shows, and I've been on Ghost Adventures, and yeah.
Oh, that,
A lot of shows.
that one, that's where they lock themselves up, right?
Oh, yeah.
Overnight. Yeah. Yeah. Constant clearing of them, right?
Yeah. Not even going there with that one.
Yeah, right. I get it. It's like, wait a minute, I just cleared you. Quit going on doing it again.
Revolving door, yeah.
Yeah. Oh. So as a demon seer, you have the gift of being able to take off anything demonic, negative, whatsoever, like at the blink of an eye.
Yeah, it depends. I think the longest it's taken me has been 3 hours, but that was a possession case with a woman that had 11 entities. So that's the longest, but it usually just takes a few minutes as long as I have a picture of either a location or an individual. I can do it from a distance. It doesn't take long because once I see the picture and make the connection, then I know what the demon is doing to the individual and where it attached and how long it's been attached to them and what it wants. So I usually will I don't really like to talk to them that much because they really have nothing to say that I want to hear, so you really can't get anything good out of them. They're always nasty. They're never nice, It's like, okay, fine. I don't want to hear you anyway, so I'll just take you out anyway.
And I know that you've described so many different ones. I know one time you had described to me like these little spidery little things that are like in people's heads.
Yeah, they have the demons sometimes will. There are certain types demons. One of them is a minion. I call it a creepy crawly because it can look like anything. It can look like a spider. It can look like a bug. It can look like a dog. It can look like anything. But they can shrink themselves down, and a lot of times people won't even know they're there. If you don't know what you're looking for, you won't find them. They're kind of like a trapdoor spider, where a trapdoor spider will spin a web, and then it'll have a pocket in the center that it hides under in the pocket, under the web in the pocket, and it'll pop up when its victim is there. So these things kind of hide in the brain, and they'll basically pull the brain in after them. So if you didn't know what you were looking for, you'd never find them. And they influence the individual person.
They influence. They're bad. Woo. Wow. I'm telling you, she's got some great stuff. More to come. Stay with us. We're talking with June Lundgren. I'm Connie Willis, and this is Coast to Coast AM. Welcome back to Coast AM. I'm Connie Willis. Please find my stuff at conniewillis.com. And Connie Willis, the podcast, jamming it out. Thank you all so much for supporting that. Robert Treat will be back on with me and answering more of the things of what you guys were asking for, as well as getting deeper into the subjects of why aliens are here and who they are. And that'll be at Connie Willis, the podcast. Back here tonight, June Lundgren. I hope to have you on my podcast here in the future. Once it's hard enough to get you. We got to get you late at night so we can get her on. She's a busy, busy lady. We're keeping her up. But just right before we took that break there, June, you were talking about the little like spidery like ones and the ones that hidden in the brain. Could you just fit? I just want to make sure I just thought that was just so intriguing and interesting that what it did. So I know you said most of it, but can you just say again what they do inside the brain?
Well, they go inside the brain and they hide themselves and they control and manipulate. They do things like they'll give you bouts of anger, depression. They'll make you do things you normally would not do. Like if you're a very good driver and you always obey the speed limits and things like that, they could, make you drive 90 miles an hour in a 20-mile-an-hour zone, and you don't even realize you're doing it. Most people don't even realize that they have anything wrong. But things start to go wrong in their life. They start having health issues. They may lose their job. Finances will go in the toilet. Anything like that can cause harm to you in one way or another.
Now, I know that you are as simple as this, okay, everyone, let's say that I needed to call her and say, look, something's not right. I don't know what it is. And I'd have June on the phone. I've seen her do this stuff. It's amazing. So it's like I'd have June on the phone and let's say it's something with me. I could call her and say, I don't know what's going on, but this is happening. And she would just be on the other line and you would just look, June, right? You just look at me right now and you say, oh, I just flicked one off. I just did this and I just did that.
Yeah.
And I can feel good instantly. I can feel better instantly.
Yeah, you just have that. I just have that connection. Once I make the connection, it's either, sometimes it's by email, sometimes it's by phone. But as long as I get a picture or something to do with the individual involved or the location involved. A lot of times people will contact me because they're having, paranormal activity that's actually, if they're being attacked or bitten or scratched or whatever, then they'll send me a picture of the location and I can see what's there and remove it. Now,
you are a demon seer. What's the difference between that and a demonologist?
Okay, so a demonologist is someone who studies demonology, studies, everything that the person studies everything they can about whatever's been written, and they may go out to a location. They also study. Most of them will also study theology, so they'll go out to a location and try to rid it of anything that's negative that's there, and that's cool because that's what they do. But I've run into a lot of people that say they're demonologists and they ended up being fake. So that kind of put me off when I started doing removals, putting myself out there to help. I told my grandmother, I said, listen, I don't want to call myself a demonologist because that's not what I am. And she had been gone, she'd been dead since 1979. And she said, well, why don't you just call yourself what we call you in the old country? And she's from Ireland, a demon seer. She said there's a family history from the 14th century that said a female child would be born, and she would have the ability to see, communicate, and remove demonic entities. And she says I knew that the moment I saw you that's who you were. You were the fulfillment of that prophecy. So I actually see the demons in their true form. I actually talk to them at times, and I can actually remove them and kill them. Demonologists can't do any of that. They don't see the demons. Most of them do not see the demons, especially not in their true form, and they can't kill them.
Okay, so, and I want to get to the warrior angels, but what does a demon look like? What do you see? Are they what? Because I know what I imagine. I know what I've seen in the movies and the TV shows, but what do they really look like?
Well, the demon will actually show itself. It'll go into your mind, and they'll dig out your preconceived idea, image of what they should look like, and they'll magnify that 100-fold and make you see them as that. But that's not really what they look like. Demons, like the old demons, are about 7 feet tall. They look a lot like archangels in the way that they're both 7 feet tall. They have a 12-foot wingspan, and that's where the similarities end. They're also shades of grays and black, and their face has almost no features whatsoever. What really stands out are the eyes. The eyes on an old demon are golden, or some people call it yellow. But when you look at the eyes, you see every evil that you've ever thought of, and then some. It's pure evil when you look in their eyes, and it's something that you will never, ever forget. You'll have nightmares for years to come from it. And then the ones that are the lesser demons and the minions, they have red eyes, but it's much the same in the way that's what you see, that's what you feel.
Do you have nightmares?
No, because I've been seeing them since I was 5.
Did you have them when you were 5?
Normal. No, funny enough, I didn't. About 4.5. That's when it changed how I saw them. Because before that, I just saw them as a black mass, or a black humanoid shape. But when I turned about 4.5, my brain was developed enough to actually see them as they are, I was scared. And Michael was with me. He said, don't be afraid. He said, you're seeing them through the eyes of an angel. You see them as we see them in their true form. He said, never be afraid of them, because that's a weakness, and they'll take advantage of it. So I learned a long time ago not to worry about it, not to be afraid of them.
And when you said Michael, tell people about your best friend.
Michael the Archangel, yeah.
Y'all are like buddy-buddy. You talk often.
He's been with me since birth, so so it's normal for me, When I was growing up, I thought that everybody had those kind of friends, but I soon learned they didn't.
So you call upon him and others a lot to help you. Yeah,
there's when I died in a motorcycle accident in 1988, I went to the other side. I died, went to the other side. I was chronically dead for 2 minutes. And Michael was there. He says, you need to understand who and what you are. That's why you're here now. You're here because you need to understand that your body was created to hold the soul of Ariel, the Archangel. She's not just an archangel. She's a demon slayer. He said, you have to go back and start doing the work you're always meant to do. and that's removing demons, helping the living with problems of demonic possession, demonic influence, anything to do with negative entities. And I'm like, okay. You didn't give me a manual for this one.
Did you say, look, can't I be a multi-trillionaire and do whatever I want? Please, please,
I
please.
know. Yeah, it's like, why can't you give me something airy-fairy? How come you have the bad stuff? And he just
Go out
frowned
here
at
and
me and
fight
said, you
demons.
got to do it. Yeah.
Thank you, Michael. I appreciate it. You're a really good friend. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
So, so when you say you kill them, how is it that you kill them?
You have to realize that demons as well as angels exist on a completely different realm of existence. And in their world, as a dark and light world, thought becomes reality. And it's the intention behind the thought that gives it power. When I kill a demon, I fight it in a different realm of existence, a realm of pure energy, to where Ariel comes forward and she basically helps to slay the demon. People see, when I do a removal, people say that they see wings coming out of my shoulders, my eyes turn white, my face and my voice changes. So there are physical manifestations of her, and we're one. We're not two separate entities per se. I couldn't exist without my soul, and she is my soul. So Michael did a merge when all this happened. He called it a merge, so that I can hear what she hears, see what she sees, and feel what she feels, and vice versa. So essentially, we're one unit, one being.
And well, when you slay one, I mean, I guess I'm asking you that because it's like, okay, when you say slay, I'm thinking of a big sword going into them,
Uh-huh.
but they're on this
Yeah.
whole different thing.
Yeah.
Is it? But I've also heard you say, I've flicked this off of someone. I just like flicked it.
Yeah. I have, it's usually, she has two white light swords. And when she fights a demon, it's old school. It's not like you have a gun or anything like that. It's a hand-to-hand combat, so to speak, with swords. The demons have dark swords. The bringers of light, the archangels, have swords of white light. And once you slice through them, they disintegrate, and they basically turn into particles. And I see the particles go into space and just dissipate. When we die, we can come back again. When a demon dies, its consciousness is gone. It can never return. It's dead.
Where are they coming from? Who's bringing these things into life here? Who's running around that need Viagra? Well, they don't need that. They need something else. How are they born? Where do they come from?
Well, they weren't always dark. At one time, we were all white light beings. We existed on another planet, billions of years ago. And that's where God found us, and he decided to help us, evolve, help us to become better. We were a very primitive race, and he helped us get rid of war and famine and disease. And over time, we evolved into pure energy. And once everyone evolved into pure energy, we traveled as a group and to see different galaxies. We saw stars being born, planets dying, stars dying, black holes, everything. We traveled like that for hundreds of thousands of years. And till some of the people, some of the souls said, you know what, we'd like to be physical again. We'd like to have children. We'd like to know physical love. We'd like to grow old, things like that. But there came a faction that decided, no, we don't want to do that. This is not what we want. There's no way we're going to do that. So that Lucifer was the leader, and they rose up against the warrior angels and the Legion of Light. Legion of Light was created by God before this war, because he knew it wouldn't be long before Lucifer would, show his true colors. created them. It's made up of Michael, Gabriel, Raphael, and Ariel. And they are in charge, and they train all the warrior angels. So, when all this happened, Lucifer was disarmed by Michael, and his son was disarmed by Ariel. And God told him, okay, you can't live among us because you'll cause more problems. So he opened a rift into a dark realm, and he put them in there and said, this is your realm from now on. This is where you'll rule. And he sealed the rift. And then living in the dark that long, they became a part of the darkness. So that's why they look the way they are, and that's why they can never go into the light. So they've made it their agenda to cause as much pain and suffering to mankind as they possibly can, because each person that lives has a white light soul.
And you knew this since you were 5 years old?
Yeah, I was born with the knowledge.
Wow, amazing. So just real quickly before we take a break, you have many books and many links. I want to make sure we get to the right links because we know, did we want to go with demonseer.com or mysticconnections.org? I guess they take us to the same place.
Yeah, usually demonseer.com. It'll bring you right to the same place. One will direct right into the other, into Mystic Connections. It's all one.
And that's where you've got books and
Yeah, I've got books. I've got a contact page for people to connect with me. I do intuitive readings as well, and you can book a reading with me as well. But I have a group, a paranormal group called Ghosts and Girls Paranormal. You can also contact us through that as well as Facebook, June Lundgren under Facebook, or Ghosts and Girls Facebook. You can find.
So they can, okay. So readings and also taking away demons, any situations like that, let you know about that.
Yeah, and black salt. I make a black salt that was created, the recipe was given to me by God, and I created this black salt that protects against negative entities.
Ooh, June Lundgren is who we're talking with. mysticconnections.org, demonseer.com. Get you there. You can learn all about her, see how you can contact her, and especially if you need help instantly. So stay with us. When we come back, we are going to talk about those warrior angels. More to come here. Connie Willis on Coast to Coast. Connie Willis here on Coast to Coast AM. How are you doing? Thanks for joining us. I appreciate that. It's the night's already flying by. It's just great information and more to come. And if you'd also like to catch me after hours from Coast to Coast AM, thank you so much for joining my podcast. You guys have been wonderful with it. You can find all my shows at conniewillis.com. The podcast will be going back to talking with Robert Treat again, our informant, why aliens are here, who they are. And he's got a lot more to tell. We're going to actually put it in the can tomorrow, and you guys are going to hear the podcast series phase 2. You could also catch him live in person and talk to him yourself on my membership of Blue Rock Talk, and that'll be Wednesday night. So I think you're going to like that. The next phase after that is what I call the Taken Talks, where abductees compare notes. Really interesting, the deepest conversations you'll ever have in terms of this type of information. So Connie Willis, the podcast, Blue Rock Talk, and more at conniewillis.com. Please go over there, sign up. And as you guys know, hey, the podcast, totally free. The other memberships, throw in some cash. Let's keep it going. And let's all, enjoy our lives with some interesting conversation. And we'll keep that going on with June Lundgren, who's obviously good at that as well, even though she's probably been working 23 hours today and giving us, 22 hours and giving us the rest of it. So June, we pretty much caught up. Yeah, I mean, there's no way we can catch up with all of the stuff that you've done, but warrior angels, you had said at one point, actually, and I thought it was really cool. You said, you're a warrior angel. And I said, well, what is a warrior angel? and you went on. It was wonderful, and it was like, that's what we got to do a show on. So we will be taking calls this hour, but please tell us about the warrior angels. And I think there's only so many in the world.
Yeah, right now there are about 30,000 warrior angels in physical form that are being reborn into the physical. And there are over 300,000 of them that are in spirit form walking the earth. They're here to protect us, the human race, against the negative entities, to fight them. And each warrior angel has been trained by the Legion of Light. And they're the ones that train them. They're all warriors, but kind of like the military, you have, like in the infantry, you have the people that, that do the logistics. They have ones that are on the front line. They have ones that do communication. It's like that with warrior angels. Each one has its own specialty. And there are the warrior angels. They're the ones that do the fighting of the demons. And then there are the ones that are communicators, the ones that are facilitators, strategists. They have healers as well. It depends upon their specialty, which division they belong to. But each one of them can and will fight against the darkness. But they're sent back here to see what's going on, to be able to live in the physical world so that they can understand better how the physical people are affected by these negative entities and what ways they can help. And once they cross back into the other side, they bring all that information as well to God and Jesus and the other warrior angels, because there's such a gap on the other side. They don't understand the physical world because they don't have the problems we have. They don't have the hassles that we have. So it's hard for them to understand. It'd be like, and their sense of time is horrible. I mean, it'd be like you being on one side of the Grand Canyon and me being on the other side. You know there's somebody over there. You don't know who it is, and you can't hear what they're saying. You can just see somebody over there, and so you have no idea. And it's about that way with them on the other side. The archangels, they can see you, they know who you are, but they don't know that, say you had a bad day at work or you broke your foot or something like that. They know they know that you broke the foot. They don't know the pain involved with it, what you have to do to protect that foot, to wear a cast or whatever. It's the nuances that they don't understand.
So you had said I was a warrior angel.
Right. You're a warrior angel, but your specialty is communication.
Yeah. Go figure. I love
All
it.
about communication. usually when they're reborn, they will have some sort of a job or some sort of a life path that includes their specialty. So it's interesting. In the last 3 or 4 years, I've had about 1,000 warrior angels find me, and they come and they want to know why they're having issues. Like, warrior angels have more abilities than most people do. Your regular everyday angels, I call them common angels because they're the everyday angels. But I know some people find that derogatory, but really, no, they're the worker bees. The common angels may have, one gift or 2 gifts, but the warrior angels have multiple gifts. They may have psychic abilities. They may do psychometry. They may have empathic abilities. Each one of them is a little bit different. Some may be healers. Some may be able to. Some are mediums. It just depends upon the individual one. And most warrior angels are not born with the knowledge of who and what they are. They know they're different. They know there's something different about them. They know they have abilities, but they don't know a lot of times how to utilize those abilities to the fullest, or they don't understand why they have the abilities, what their life path is, that sort of thing. It's very difficult for them to adjust. And most of the time, they don't come to find out who and what they are until, they're in midlife. Very rarely are they born with the abilities, with the knowledge. It's a rarity. I was born with the knowledge, but that's because Ariel's an archangel. And each time she incarnates, she's got all of her abilities, and she's born with the knowledge of what she is.
So many of those things hit home. So it's interesting that when you say that and then you start describing those things, it's like, yeah. And I think I might be one of those ones that come back and tell them, on the other side, hey, this is what the pain is like. Here's the pain.
It's like, get
we
a
don't
grip,
need to have
feel this.
yeah. Oh man, what did I do to deserve this?
Ariel, when she goes back, she tries to let them feel the emotions and the things that she went through in that particular lifetime so that they can understand better.
Good and bad, right? Good and bad
both.
Feelings.
Yeah, both things, yeah.
Yeah, and did you say something like it's always fighting for love, knowing that love is the only thing, and that's what the warrior angels are doing?
Yeah, warrior, love is one of the strongest emotions that there is for good. But hate is one of the strongest emotions for bad. But, on the other side, when I died, I went to the other side. The first thing you feel is the overwhelming sense of peace and love and security. And that sticks out like anything. And when you're on the other side, you're connected to every living soul, every soul in existence, whether it's living or on the other side. It's kind of like it's a murmur in the background. You hear all these voices. If you concentrate on one voice or another, then that one becomes louder and clearer. But above all that is what some people call the God consciousness. You can feel him constantly in the background and your connection to him. You can feel that connection.
You had said, I don't know, I guess it's not just you. Everybody seems to be saying in whatever field or genre they're in, that something is happening right now, that things are going on in the world right now, and we're getting ready. What do you say about that, and what do you think?
Yeah, there's a lot of stuff that goes on in the background that most people don't know about. And over the last several years, I've had, more and more battles against the dark ones, and the battles have gotten more and more intense and more often. And there was a session with God where he's decided to, do a massive clearing of negative entities, and that was like the end of December. And starting the 1st of January, the energy changed after that. The energy changed for the better, and things are starting to move in the right direction. A couple of years ago, God had said told me there was going to be what he called the Great Conjunction, where everything came together, and the change would occur on the earth, and it would start with an energetic change for the better, for good. So that's what we're seeing begin now.
June Lundgren, you can find her at mysticconnections.org, demonseer.com, whichever one's easier for you to look up. We were going to pick one and just keep giving you that, but I just want you to remember one, mysticconnections.org or demonseer, and that's DEMONSEER.com. We're going to hit the phones here. Beth, wildcard line number 2 out of Palo Alto, California. Is it Palo? It's Palo Alto. What? How do you say that?
Palo Alto.
Oh, okay. Thank you. All right. You're in, I know that area. I was looking around for places there, thinking to live there at one point. Woo, that's some expensive living over there. So, got a lot of great minds over there too, don't you? Anyway, welcome to Coast to Coast. How are you?
Oh, I'm fine. I like what June's saying. It makes a lot of sense. Now, how would you find out about, how do you recognize warrior angels or any angels that are incarnated now?
For me, it's not a problem, because with Ariel within me, I can see an angel in an individual simply by seeing them. It's hard to describe. I can see the angelic energy. Angels look at us and they don't see the physical body. They see the soul within, the angelic soul within, or the common angel soul within. They see that. They don't see this physical shell that you see, that you and I see. So I can see their energy, and I know whether they are or not, and then I know their name.
So Beth could actually, who, by the way, she's from it says from California, but she had a Canadian accent there. I wonder if that's where she's from. I think we've already, she's not on the line anymore, but so Beth could also contact you. And if she had pictures of her aunt or something, she could say, "Is this a warrior angel or something?"
Right. And what is their name? You know, sometimes you'll have a female body, but you'll have a male, per se, male warrior angel.
Good question.
It doesn't make any difference to them.
Elise, wildcard line number 1, Portland, Oregon. Welcome to Coast. You're on the air.
Hi, Connie.
Hey.
My question for the guest was, do you have to get into like a meditative state or any type of like any sort of things that you do in order to see the demon seers? And what would your advice be for someone who's been being followed for about 4 years that can't seem to shake one, that's just doing unspeakable things I won't even mention for the empaths to have nightmares about?
Well, stay on the line, Elise, because she can connect with you immediately. Hold on. Stay right there. Don't go. Go ahead, June. I'm sorry.
That's okay. No, I don't have to go into a meditative state. It's actually a redundance for me. To be in a meditative state would leave yourself open to these things and open to attack. So I don't have to be. I just know from seeing the individual or hearing the individual what's there.
Are you able to pick up on her right now?
Oh, yeah.
Can you? Is it already gone?
It's trying to hide, but if she can send a picture to me through my website, then I can do the removal.
Did you hear that, Elise?
A picture of me?
Yeah, you, or if you feel that it's a place, then the picture of the outside of the building.
No, it's not a place. I'll send you a picture of myself.
Yeah, a picture of whoever's having the issue.
That would be me. Thank you, June.
All
right. Yeah, make sure you do that, Elise. It'll boom. So where would she contact you? Through the Mystic Connections?
She can go to demonseer.com, and there's a contact page, and just send the information, and there's an email address in there as well.
Excellent. Thank you so much. And Elise, hopefully, look, it'll be taken care of. There's no question. I've seen it myself. It's absolutely amazing. So if you're in that same situation, demonseer.com. Connie Willis here along with June Lundgren and talking about warrior angels. More to come. Stay with us and your phone calls on Coast to Coast AM. Coast to Coast AM. Hey there, Connie Willis with you. So many phone calls. We're trying to get to as many as we can. It's another great night, having a good time. Man, it is flying by. We were talking about earlier taking a little cat nap. No, it's just flying. It's just going well, sounding good. A lot of great emails coming in and tweets and things like that. Thank you so much for all your comments. I appreciate that. Catch me at ConnieWillis.com. Over there, find out my other shows and please join them, whether it's membership or it's the podcast. Connie Willis, the podcast is brand new. Thank you for joining that, being a part of that. So make sure you are on the automatic download on whatever your favorite directory is out there. I'm personally on the platform of Spreaker, which is iHeart. And so, jump on that if you'd like to do that. Connie Willis, the podcast. You'll hear back from Robert Treat again, why aliens are here and who they are. His deathbed confession. By the way, he got what he needed on the GoFundMe. He wants to thank you personally. And you'll hear more as we put it in the can tomorrow. He and I are going to talk. So you'll hear it on the podcast. And you'll also see him live if you join my show, which is called Blue Rock Talk. That's a membership show. You'll actually get to see him and however he's going to look. I'm not sure if he's hiding himself a little or what, but you can be there live and ask him things you want yourself. So even if you say, well, I don't really want to join a membership, you can for at least a month, right? Do 1 month and go from there. I think you'll like it though. So watch out. Don't be scared because you might like it. It's great though. You'll love it. Any more info about me, go to ConnieWillis.com. And June Lundgren, our guest right now, talking about warrior angels and answering your questions on the phone. You can find her at mysticconnections.org or demonseer.com. Keep in mind, if you are having problems, get a hold of her. It's not going to take long. When Elise was talking last segment, June, I could tell as she was talking about it, you already zoned in on what it was and you were already doing something. I know it. Am I wrong?
No, I do. Yeah, I do it. I just do it in between.
Yeah, it's amazing. I'm like, I've known her a little bit enough to know that that's what she's doing right now. And I was like, she's already like flicking at it, picking at it, and figuring out what to do. It's amazing to me what you can do. You really are. I know you've gone through this for a long, long time, but doing what I do, I meet a lot of people. And a lot of people say a lot of things, and some can do and some cannot, and you can do. You can do.
Yeah, I don't, if nobody would pick this job. Nobody in the lifetime would want to do this job. Because, you see and hear about people that are demonologists, true demonologists, and they have a lot of health issues and things like that, because it does take a toll on people, that do the work. I don't have any issues. The only reason that is because, if I didn't have Ariel within me, I'd probably have some issues. But I'm pretty healthy. I only take vitamins. I just had my physical. They said, you're great shape for the shape you're in. I said, shut up.
So you got a new book coming out, or it is out, and look at all these books you do. What's that about?
Yeah. In the next 72 hours, the ebook should be available for my new book it's the second in the Demon Seekers series. It's a fantasy book based on the 7 archangels that are in the world today. This one's called Demon Seekers Into Darkness. It should be out by the end of the week in print, but it'll be out in 72 hours as ebook on Amazon.
Excellent. So where do they go to find that?
Yeah, they can go on Amazon.com and just type in my name and all the books will pop up.
Okay. And plus they can probably go to just demonseer.com and hit it too.
Yeah.
Mystics Connection.
Yeah.
Okay. And you guys, it's June, June, Lundgren, Lundgren. Yeah, it's not like it's a little easy. Sometimes you're like, man, why do I have this name? Nobody can spell it, right? Yours isn't that bad, but it's got a little twist in there,
Well, it's like my husband's second cousin is Dolph Lundgren. So,
Oh.
if you just figure that guy, then you'll know.
Oh, okay. Okay. I'm glad I got a Willis. That's a little easier.
Yeah, that's
So
simpler. It's better
it
than my
is.
maiden name. My maiden name is Greek, so that would be even
What?
harder.
What is it?
It's Kaludis.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, yeah.
Even
A
with the
little
accent.
harder. Yeah, a little harder.
And you gotta spell it out with that accent too. Amazing. So let me ask you this, and we'll hit the phone calls here. Demons, aliens, same things or different?
You can't imagine how many times I get people asking me that. They're not the same. Although, like I said, if a demon looks into your mind and you think your idea of a demon is an alien, then that's what they're going to show themselves as.
Mm-hmm.
But you can always tell what it is by looking at the eyes, because no matter what form they take in your mind, the eyes are always the dead giveaway. They're always the same. You know, the golden eyes for the old demons, and the red ones for the minions and the lesser demons. So you can't hide those, no matter what.
But also not just the color, but when you look in, you just know
Yeah,
the
the minute you even
negativeness.
glance at them, yeah. Yeah, you get that evil stuff. You just don't want to stare into them for any length of time.
That's interesting that you say that because, like when I've done the Bigfooting and I will mind speak to say, look, I want to see you, but I don't want to see your eyes yet. I'm not ready.
Yeah.
Because it's true with just people in general too. When you look in their eyes, and I do have something where, man, I can really see in people's eyes. Maybe that's the warrior angel thing that you talk about.
Yeah, that's a warrior
And
angel trait.
so why, maybe something has gotten me in a way of, I don't want to look in your eyes yet. I'm just not ready to see the whole world and truth of it when I do. Is that what you think it is? Because I don't think they're demonic at all. But
No, they're not. But it's the case of sometimes we block ourselves because we're not ready for it. We're not ready to see what it truly is.
It's going to be amazing. It'll be amazing when I do, and I just want to be ready,
Exactly. And if you're not ready, you'll be blind to it. So.
Yeah, yeah. I know what I see when that happens one day will be so much.
Yeah.
That, and I think it'll be absolutely amazing. So I just totally want to totally be ready. Going back to the lines, man, do you want to say, I just want to ask, since it's our last segment and we're going to hit the phones, is there anything else you want to make sure that you say before I don't rush you into it at the end because we're running out of time?
I guess the best advice I can give people if they think, if they've come across a negative entity, is not to acknowledge it, because if you acknowledge it, it makes them see you. It's like raising your hand in a classroom. Nobody wants to raise their hand in a classroom because the teacher's gonna pick on you. But it's the same way. Once you acknowledge it, then it makes. Normally you'd be a part of the crowd, but the minute you say, "Is that a demon?" or "I think I saw a shadow person," or whatever, then they turn and they look at you and they see you, and they may attach themselves to you. And I think that's the last thing you really want.
Rick, wildcard line number 1 from New Lebanon, New York. Oh, he will refresh this. Sorry. Woo! Jade, wildcard line number 2 out of Lake Tahoe, where there's, I think, a whole lot of snow there. Welcome to Coast to Coast.
Okay. Yeah, we got 30 feet of snow.
Woo!
Deep. Woo!
Beautiful.
We're shoveling out.
Do you have a question for June?
Yes, I do. And Connie and June, I am so grateful for you guys being here. Like the Art Bell and the George Norrie, you guys are rock stars, keeping we're coast to coast. We're here. It's January 2023. Like, here we are. So my question is,
thank you.
Regular little people, we're just trying to shovel out snow,
we're just trying to think about good and evil. Well, we want to be good. We don't want to, like, the evil. What can we do? Pray over the evil, whatever. Should we, ask, what do we need to do? Because there's a lot of things going on this planet. It's been going on for decades, millennium. And I just want to know if these, I am so great that June talked about 300,000 angels helping
Warrior
us.
angels.
Warrior
Please,
angels.
thank you. I'm like, wait a minute, that's 300,000 angels that can help us shovel the snow out of the deep Sierra Mountains.
Yeah, it's like God. People think God doesn't hear them, but He hears them. That's why He sent them, and that's why He sent 30,000 warrior angels into the physical world, in their bodies, physical bodies, being reborn. Because He knows man needs help.
Terry, wildcard line number 4, Columbus, Ohio. Terry, welcome to Coast to Coast. You have a question real quick.
Yes. Hi, Connie. Hi, June. Happy New Year
Hi.
to both of you.
Thank you. You too.
I was just wondering what role Christians play, and can they be demonized, and what can the Holy Spirit do for you? I have a lot of mental health problems from drug and alcohol abuse, and I've been clean and sober for about 5 years now.
Awesome.
But I seem to be pretty stuck in my spiritual relationship, and just wondering how to get going again.
Yeah, it's a lot of people think that it's hard. We humans, we make things harder than it has to be. And I remember years ago, God telling me, He says, "You humans make things harder than they have to be. All you have to do is ask, and we'll help." He says, we give you the help you need. He says, not necessarily the help you want. We give you the help you need to help you grow spiritually. So all you have to do is ask.
So that works for the same answer for Jade out in Lake Tahoe.
Yeah.
And 30 feet of snow. They got 30 feet of snow out there.
No, thanks. I don't like the cold. It snowed for about a half an hour here. That was enough.
Love it, love it, love it. So beautiful. Don't like driving in it, but man, is it beautiful. Not that you can drive through 30 feet, but oh my. Well, June, I thank you so much for being here. It's so fun to talk with you anytime. It's hard to, because you are a busy lady. If you're not working in the nursing field, you're certainly doing this, but I think you're hoping to retire from that and do this a little bit more. Is that what you predict?
I was supposed to retire in Thursday, but they've found nobody to replace me, so I told them I'd give them 2.5 days a week, and that's it. But towards November, when it reaches November, they better find somebody right in, because I'm out of there.
June, nobody can replace you. There's just absolutely no way. So just real quick, how can people reach you again, and what is it that you would like them to make sure they check out?
Yeah, you can go to demonseer.com. It feeds into mysticconnections.org, so they're one and the same. So go to demonseer.com, and there's on the contact page, you can send me a question, or if you need an appointment for an intuitive reading, there's an appointment page, so you can book an appointment with me. You can go to Facebook, June Lundgren on Facebook. I have a paranormal group called Ghosts and Girls Paranormal. And if you want any of my books, you can get them on Amazon.com.
And if someone...
They'll all pop up.
Okay, yeah, put up her name and it'll all pop up. It's true, it's true. And if somebody has an emergency, is there a certain way to catch you for an emergency?
I usually will respond to emails within 24 to 48 hours.
Okay. Excellent. June, thanks so much. Looking forward to talking to you again. June
Right, you take
Lundgren.
care. Thanks for having me.
Will do. Absolutely. Thanks, June. She's amazing. Absolutely amazing. I've just seen her doing some work for some other people, and I could not believe what I saw, and I couldn't wait to get her on the air at one point. But I couldn't because at one point George Norrie had already talked to her just recently. I was like, darn it, I got to wait. You got to give it a little bit of time. You just got to do those things. So thanks again, June, for being here, and all of those of you that called. So coming up next, we've got James Gilliland. Everybody's talking about all these things that are happening in the world now. Well, he's over in Hawaii at his Aseti Ranch in Hawaii, and there's all these UFOs up in the sky. He's captured them too. Check our website. You'll see what he sent us. Oh my gosh, it's beautiful video that he's got too. So more to come. Stay with us. Let's see what he's got to say on Coast to Coast. Thank you for joining us tonight or this morning. You're listening to Coast AM. I'm Connie Willis. Find me at conniewillis.com. I hope you will. I hope you check it out. If you like what you hear when I'm on and you go, I want more. Well, go ahead and get it. Don't want any more. Get satisfied. Go to conniewillis.com. And you'll see all the different shows. You can become a Blue Rocker. That's a paid membership. And you'll be in a community of other people of like mind that we get along, even if we throw out little outbursts, we're all hanging in there with each other, and sticking around for our creepy hotspots where we have live investigations that are absolutely unreal. They really are exciting. Bigfoot, hauntings, UFOs, strange lights. And it's, we get a lot closer, I think, after doing those shows. We also have Bigfoot Friday, Far Out Thursday, just conversations that are interesting and just getting along. We took a bit of a break, or kind of, I guess, throughout until the new year. It was for them. I was still going at it, but it was good to see everybody again, and talk and get back into it. And there's another show called Connie After Dark, which helps with the Blue Rock Talk, because it's a lot, when you go on these investigations for 3 to 5 nights, we're talking the real deal, right? So you got to have a lot of things going on out there to be inside of, truck campers and this and that and food and everything that you need to be out there. And we're off grid, we're doing the real deal, and it's fun. It's exciting. There's no way you can ever do it for the price you can to just join and be there. And you are right there living it too. And now I've got my podcast that just, I don't know, thanks to Coast sparking that for me and saying, hey, let's do some podcasting. It's been a while. I kept thinking, I can't understand this podcast thing. What's going on with this? And then I realized that it's every radio personality's dream, as you sit there and you play a song and you wait for it to finish, or you run a commercial and you wait for it to finish, and you keep thinking, hey, I could put all this together at one time and disperse it or something like that. And you're like, oh my gosh, it's a podcast. So it's really exciting. And you guys have really taken it on. It's absolutely free, of course. And it's called Connie Willis, the podcast. Thank you so much for jumping in on it. Robert Treat, we've got phase 2 with him. Why aliens are here, who they are. And he's an informant, a whistleblower, telling you, he was with the elite, and he's telling you what he knows. His GoFundMe has exceeded what he wanted to get. And anyway, that's coming up next. So make sure you caught up with the podcast. So again, it's Connie Willis, the podcast. If you're hearing too much at once, just go to conniewillis.com. You'll learn it all. And it's interesting stuff. Well, we've got a whole lot more to learn from him, and he'll be actually on Blue Rock Talk this next week on Wednesday. So if you are that intrigued, become a Blue Rocker, join it, and you'll get to be able to hear him and ask him questions, because it's live 2-hour stream. Okay. All righty. ConnieWillis.com is where you go to do that. Now, just the other day, this man that we're about to talk to was on Blue Rock Talk, and it's James Gilliland. He'll be on some future Connie Willis, the podcast as well. But here he is on Coast. I don't know, this is our second or third time with you here with me. And I just enjoy talking with him. I've been to James's Aseti Ranch. You probably know him with Aseti Ranch. Most likely you do. And where you watch Mount Adams. right? I always think of Shasta and the other one at Mount Adams, where you've heard where the ships come in and out, and you hear the land and the property where there's lots of orbs and lights and different things and a blonde juvenile Bigfoot and all that kind of stuff. And if you've missed any of the other conversations along the way, he's now got an Iseti ranch on Hawaiian Island. Hello. I love that for him. Good for him. He says he's got a cottage named Connie's Cottage out there. He's going to kill me when he comes on here. Right now, the mic is down, so I can say whatever I want. Anyway, James Gilliland, he's a best-selling author. He's internationally known at speaking, a minister, counselor, multiple near-death experiencer, contactee. He's been talking about this over 40 years. He is very calm, relaxed. You want to ask him something, he'll just chill and give it to you. So I think Hawaii is wonderful for him. And it's really nice to always be able to get a hold of him and find out and ask him questions. Now, he is big into what's happening in the world as of right now. And just recently, he's had a whole bunch of UFOs just exploding over the Hawaiian Iseti Ranch and some really neat things. You go to our website, you're going to see some pictures that he sent us over at coasttocoastam.com. But you can also check him out, obviously, at iseti.org to see just about everything you can imagine. He's been around for a while. Beautiful site, all sorts of things. James Gilliland, welcome back to Coast AM. How is it over there? Oh, wait a minute. Aloha, right? Aloha. Did we lose him? He's like, hey, I got to take a dip in the ocean first there, Connie. That's what he did the other night before the show when he came on Blue Rock. It wasn't that he just got out of the shower. He's like, I'm sorry, I just got out of the ocean. He was fixing his hair. But we probably lost him here. We're going to connect him back here as soon as we do that. We'll come back. Let me tell you, speaking of that, so when he was on Blue Rock last week, and by the way, if you join the show, you do get to see the archives as well. But so when he's on, like last Thursday, we're showing the video. We've been on for like an hour and 30 minutes. And then we start showing his video that he sent that was like 12 minutes, something like that. And it's all this incredible video of UFOs up in the sky and just, amazing. And then at one point, stuff blew in my house. The lights blew, poo poo, the breaker went off, and some things went out. They're all hooked up to the same outlet. Some things went out and some things did not. And one of the things beside the lights went back on, but I went off audio wise. And he kept doing the show for me, because I kind of did a little sign language. I was on video. Then the video went out and he kept doing the show for me, but nothing else went out. And of course, James is like, yeah, that happens all the time. And those things do. I've had it happen here on Coast to Coast as well, but that was really freaky. And then everything after that show, after James left, everything was fine and it went back to normal. James, welcome back to Coast again. Aloha.
Aloha. Good to be back.
Did you take a dip? Did you just go take a dip in the water again?
No, I don't know what happened. Just like you're saying, all of a sudden my mic didn't work. And I go, wow, I don't know what's, how things work perfect like all day long. And then all of a sudden, as soon as you start to reach a large audience or something, everything goes off. And it's common here. We just deal with it. I did a radio show in L.A., and they had actually 6 lines come in, and he goes, congratulations, you took down all 6 of our lines. So somebody doesn't like this information getting out. But
oh, my. Well, the other night on my show, when that happened, it was weird that, they're all connected in the same area and certain components went out. And then they all went back on, but I didn't audibly at first, and then I wasn't even video wise, and you carried on the show. So thank you very much for doing that.
Oh, you're welcome. One time on Coast to Coast quite a while ago with Art Bell, my webmaster said he's never seen anything like it. They took down the T1 lines and just shut them down. so nobody could see the footage and on the website. So there's a mass effort to keep this information away.
Yeah, and I know it happens all the time. I know I've seen it before, and it's just amazing because it's something different when it should have been everything that went out. It not why was it a piece here and a piece there? Why did that not make sense? Why was it broken totally? I talked to one of our top engineers with iHeart, and he said, I can't explain that one at all, Connie. So there you go. Anyway, so a lot
the
of
higher beams,
activity.
I think, took it over.
You know what? I'm going to tell you. I'll tell you something. I saw something. Um, I'll keep it brief, but I got something on video once, and I could not wait to see what it was. It was a brand new video system that I got of cameras. And it was so new that I was still talking to the guy in a whole nother state that had sent, it was their company, and I could not, or I wanted to know how to pull it down so I could get the video. And I mean, the first time I put that thing up, I got what I wanted. And so I had contacted him, and I was like, please, tell me how to do this. I was trying to be really cool because I knew what I needed to get. And I wanted to get it quickly before anything happened to it. And as the guy, we're on phone, and he's teaching me how to pull the video down that you capture on this certain system. Darn it. It was almost like a lightning bolt came out of the sky and came down to where I was living and went zap. And this was in the middle of the day. My TV went out, and everything else went off and on. And that video that I was trying to get went away. And the guy in the other state on the other side that's teaching me how to do it, he freaked out so much at what he saw. He said, I don't know what you're playing with me right now, but that's it. And he hung up on me because he literally saw it zap out too. And I'm going, I had it. That's when I knew I had it, even more so. But that is amazing that it happens.
Quite a while back, I was at the International UFO Congress, and during my lecture, I told him, I said, at 11 o'clock, go out on the river and look. I think it was to the east. I can't remember what I said. And it said a big ship's going to fly in. And so anyway, a lot of people listened. They went out there with their cameras, and sure enough, 11 o'clock, a massive triangle ship came over, and then a golden orange light ship came over. And there was some kind of an exchange between them too. It's interesting, like a beam went between the two. I don't know what that was about, but this one guy got it on film, and he was a little arrogant, I'd say, with it. And he says, yeah, I've got the best footage. I'm going to have the best lecture here and everything else. Didn't even give me credit for it, that happens a lot. I didn't even care about that part, but it was really funny. And so, he showed it to everybody. Everybody's all excited. So he goes to play it, and it's gone.
Oh,
totally erased off his camera.
Yeah, I know you had said before that you had mentioned that you were telling people this is where you want to look, this is where you want to, see this, because you will see it. And then I think nobody actually taped it.
Yeah.
And they missed it.
Actually, that happened with Ancient Aliens. We told them exactly when and where the ships would appear. And John Vivanco, who's a remote viewer, and Peter Slattery, who's got East Eddie, Australia, or Jaya Sanctuary. And, we all came up with the exact same. They went and asked us, well, when do you think the ships will appear? And it was funny, independently, we all said the exact same thing. And they missed it. They didn't, I don't think it was ever their intention to really cover.
Oh, that's too bad. Well, I absolutely believe that you can, it's like when they freeze you and you can't do anything. If you're out in the middle of somewhere and, when I do any creepy hotspot with my show and people say, well, why didn't, if you saw these beams of light and you saw this and you saw the Bigfoot and all this, why didn't you get a picture of it? Or why didn't you get video of it? People don't understand. I was even talking to Les Stroud about it too. People don't understand. First of all, I have now learned it doesn't matter. You're not going to just pull it up and start doing it. And by the time you do it, it's going to be gone.
Yeah.
for the most part, not always, but for the most part. But I say, look at it, take it in yourself and enjoy it, because take the memory in your own mind. But most of the time too, they freeze you and stop you from not doing it. Even Les had said, Connie, I'm a filmmaker. Why didn't I grab my camera when I saw this? It's because you're also stopped.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. It is. I know there's two things that when the ships come in and power up and do things, there's two things people say, and it's, WTF or oh my God. And they're usually just frozen. And they're taking it in, and it really messes up your belief system, because now you can't deny it anymore. And that's the wonderful thing about ECETI. We've been there for like 40 years, sometimes 200 people in the field at a time, watching these ships. And so there's so many eyewitnesses and, triple PhD Boeing engineers and Lockheed Skunk Works, Air Force base commanders and pilots and even air traffic controls. All these people have been there, and they've all testified. And even on Coast to Coast on Art Bell, they came on and testified that these ships are real. They don't know whose they are. They said they're not ours. And these are people in the know of our back engineering programs and what we have. And when they saw these ships morphing from 1 to 4 and doing phenomenal things and getting massive and then phasing out, making right angle turns, the Boeing engineer said that would rip the rivets off of anything we have, the turns they're doing and the other things. He said there's no way a pilot could handle the G-forces, that would be involved in this. But, it's funny, despite all the evidence there and 40 years of video and photographs and witnesses and everything else, we're probably still one of the most censored group in ufology. It's just kind of funny.
No human could handle a left or right like what you see up there. We are talking with James Gilliland. We're going to come back and get more information from him, but nobody can handle that. Holy cow. And he's right. All this information, all this evidence out there. Hey, you guys know, because that's why you're here at Coast to Coast, but all that info, and people are still, what? Go look, it's out there. Whether it's a SETI or just go out there and just, hey, look up yourself. Jeez. More to come. Connie Willis here on Coast to Coast AM. You are listening to Coast AM. Connie Willis here. And please find me, my podcast, my paid membership shows, become a Blue Rocker, have fun with me, join the Blue Rocker group, be one in the know. Go to ConnieWillis.com. You'll learn all about me and all the shows, and get ready for talking back with Robert Treat again with on the podcast at Connie Willis, the podcast. And we're gonna put one in the can this weekend. We're gonna put that out where it's why the aliens are here, who they are. And he will be on Blue Rock Talk this coming week, Wednesday. So you have to become a member in order to see that. Even if you say, I'm going to try it out for a month, well, then join for a month and see if you want to keep going. But Robert will be on. It's a live stream. You'll see him that way. However, I don't know if he's going to go incognito or not. That's up to him. I would, but that's up to him. The informant, that you heard here on Coast to Coast not long ago. So check it out. Learn more at ConnieWillis.com. What I'm doing is I'm bringing back something I did before that I call the Taken Talks, where lifers, abductees, contactees, those that have been taken, compare notes with others. And it gets really in depth. It gets really deep. And with bringing Robert back into everything, and a lot of people finding his information extremely interesting and going a whole lot deeper than most by being with the elite and doing the different things that he did with it, that when I do the Taken Talks, I'm even going to be inviting James Gilliland in as well so that they can compare notes, because they say a lot of the similar things. It'll be interesting to see what they agree upon and what they disagree upon. And I'll be doing that with some other people, the Kinsella twins, Paul Sinclair, got to talk with Brett Oldham, and, some people like that. So anyway, James, I'm looking forward to that. So thank you. Thank you. Um, and thanks for being on the other night with me. So, James, let me ask you, I mean, the videos you got, the pictures you sent, you had texted me and said, Connie, there's all this activity happening. What did you see over the Isetti Ranch in Hawaii, and what is going on?
Yeah, it's been very interesting. It's just picked up phenomenally. And what I usually do is I get up about 5 in the morning, and I go out and grab my camera, and I have night vision attached to the camera. And without a doubt, I'll see at least 8 or 9 ships a night. Sometimes I'll see up to 15 or 20. It's very similar to ECETI in Washington. There's more activity in ECETI in Washington because we'll see like 25. I've seen actually 200 ships in one night, just insane there, and
Amazing.
landings and coming out of the mountain, and the inner Earth guys are there. It's all going on, but here it was just one after another of these massive ships coming in, powering up, coming right over the house, and then, going behind the trees. So you can see these things are very low, and they're responding to us, on the ground and putting on, a little dazzle duty, a little show. And you feel the energy when they power up. There's an energy exchange, and you get real giddy. The energy is really high.
Yes, you're exactly right. Yes.
Yeah.
You do get giddy. Yep.
Yeah. And so we're getting them out over the ocean. We're getting big golden ships just sitting right over the ocean, and then they just blink out and gone and disappear. And then there's just so much going on. A lot of times I like the other day I had 6 ships in one frame, crossing each other, flying, making turns, everything. And these things are turning too. And, when you get on with, you always have I don't know why they do it, but whenever they do, even Fox News did it, they brought on, they came out and they're blown away, and they saw all the ships. And I gave them some excellent footage. They kind of sanitized it. But at least they did cover it, and they did a pretty good job. It was a pretty favorable job. And but it's kind of weird. They bring these scientists on, and from NASA and these other guys, James Todd with the university, with OMSI, planetarium and everything. So these things are flying treetop level. They're responding to us on the ground. They're turning. They're landing on the mountain. They're morphing from 1 to 4. And they're looking at this footage, and they're saying, "Oh, that's easily explainable. That's just the space station or the shuttle." And even when the shuttle was grounded, they're trying to say that's the shuttle. So, you get these experts, and they're not experts at all, and they've abandoned all critical thinking and just base common sense when they analyze. And we use their data. They used to have J-Tracker up. I don't know if it's still up, but they have Heavens Above. And you can go on there and you can look at all the visible satellites. So I want to warn people, when you go there, they try to pass this off. They said there's tons of satellites in the sky. There are, but there's not that many visible satellites.
Mm-hmm.
So
and you can tell those. And you can tell those too.
Yeah, and you have to look under the category of visible satellites. Over your area, you can type in your zip code, and it'll tell you exactly what's overhead. And so it'll say, there's maybe 1 to 4 visible satellites a night overhead. And so when you see 20 or 30 or 200, you've gone way past that quota.
And and it's different. They look different. They act different. They respond differently. They are not, it's so hard when people do that kind of thing. It's so frustrating.
No. They're self-illuminated too. And even late at night when the sun's behind the Earth and they're in the Earth's shadow, they're self-illuminated. And satellites are not self-illuminated. I think the space station has a little beacon on it, and that's about it. But, they don't have headlights and
that's right. That's right.
Landing lights and things.
If they do, it's us.
No, I mean, the space stations don't. But
I got you.
Yeah, well, but anyway, these ships they're usually multicolored lights. photographed triangular ships, massive saucer ships, small ones, every color imaginable. We've got huge cylinder ships that we've actually got on film and photographed. And the problem is people go, well, that's military, or that's something. And I've shown it to top people, like I said before, in the military and skunk works, even an Air Force base commander. And he said those aren't ours. We don't have that. We don't have that many different types of ships up there. They do have. We do have Space Force and a lot of the secret space fleet and things like that up there. So, when I tell people it's an unknown, any way you look at it, it's a UFO. It's an unidentified flying object. Now, who's on those ships is a different story, and that's where we've gone far beyond. We've actually made contact. We know who's on the ships, the different races, why they're here, who's here, and what their agendas are. And so we've gone so far beyond that. But that's a controlled narrative. That part of the story is heavily censored, and they don't want that information out.
Why is that when you can look up? I guess because people can look up and they still deny it. But other than that, I mean, you can look up, you can literally just look up. People start looking up and you will see these things. So how can they just hide that narrative when that's the case? Because enough people are just going, oh, okay, whatever you say. Is that why? Or that's why they're getting away with it? I mean, listen, I'm going to tell you something. Let me say one more thing if I can.
Yeah.
I knew some of the people with Roswell. And, Jesse Marcel Jr. was great to me and other people along the way with Roswell. But Roswell, there's so many other things that have happened since. It's like, you guys, okay, please don't act like Roswell's the only thing that ever happened. And there's so much going on now. And some people, they're still stuck on there. They want to do documentaries on that. They want to go on and on and on about that when there's so much they're missing. No offense to Roswell. Hey, I was at a celebration, loved the people, talked about it, but there's so much more that we're missing by not looking at what happens today, yesterday, tomorrow, last week, 2 days ago. It's not just Roswell.
Night.
Yeah, it has been.
I think one of the main problems is, and we're going through a huge transition right now, but the powers that are actually unfolding, imploding right now, they want to keep us, stupid, sick, and poor, basically. They don't want to educate us. They don't even want to let us know that there are benevolent beings out there that have, fuelless energy, anti-gravity, counter-gravity, med beds, they've conquered disease and all their energy needs are met. They have replicators. They have all this stuff. And, the people that want to keep us enslaved through dependency don't want that kind of contact. And they don't want the really advanced, the spiritually advanced ones, because they'll give us a different history that's totally different from the narrative that they've been pushing for a long time. So, basically the Earth is a series of colonizations from the stars. And if you track back any religion, any tradition, even Qigong and some of the ancient ones, they all go back to the stars. They go back to Atlantis and Lemuria, and those were star colonies. The Palladians actually started Atlantis and Lemuria, and other colonies joined them, other beings joined them. But in the most ancient time, the Anunnaki that were here, they were ancient Lyrians, and that's where we have the image of the bearded gods, So a lot of people go, I don't believe in God. And they go, which God don't you believe in? I said, you've got the Egyptian gods, the Greek gods, the Hebrew gods. There was actually 2 of them. And you have all of these different beings out there. And that's where we got the image of the bearded God is from these ancient visitors. But the thing is that doesn't, I'm not saying God doesn't exist. It's the one consciousness that encompasses all consciousness and all planes and dimensions throughout the multiverse. It's far beyond any bearded man. It's not male. It's not female. It's it's beyond all that. It's just pure consciousness and energy, and it's actually pure unconditional love and joy and bliss. Having a couple near-death experiences, I experienced it firsthand.
So let me ask something and give me a second to kind of put it in my head and develop it as I ask you, okay?
Sure.
It's a chick thing. So when it comes to the people that are controlling the narrative, when they follow us as the humans, and I'm just going to just let me go with this here. Okay.
Sure.
So they have the knowledge of who we are, how we all started, how everything has happened, thrown the narratives on us. Okay. Are we, and they're, keeping us down, and you hear that from everybody in every genre in some way or another. Are we the AI that got smarter and more intelligent as we went along and they needed to stop it?
Are you talking about us as humans?
Yeah.
No, actually, if you really, actually, the God is actually coded into our DNA. Yahweh is actually coded into our DNA, and there's a lot of research on that, and that's why they're trying to change the DNA to disconnect us. And if we think we're a body and a personality, basically we're disconnected, and they want to keep you locked into basically the first three chakras, which are survival, sex, and power. They're energy centers of the body. And they want to keep us locked in, and they don't want us going into the heart or, into the higher levels of consciousness. And so you're going to see that in the music industry, the TV, you see it everywhere, and they want to keep you in fear and locked into the lower emotions. But and that's by design, and that's just how they control you. They control the flow of information. They control the knowledge. And
are they finding it harder and harder, though, because we're getting smarter and smarter? Did we surpass some areas they didn't think we were going to surpass?
Yeah, well, the problem is that there's a fail-safe mechanism. It's called the soul. And when it gets activated, it's game over. And that's what's happening. People's souls are kicking on. Your soul's connected to Creator, the source, and the connection is through the heart. And so people are awakening globally, and it's a mass awakening that we're undergoing right now. And everybody has a name for it: the quickening, the ascension process. There's different names for all of it, but it can actually be scientifically measured because the Schumann resonance of Earth is off the scale right now. The solar flares and coronal mass ejections are also off the scale. The cosmic index is off the scale, and that creates changes in the DNA. It's all measurable. We're moving into a highly energized place in space, and we're ripe for this shift, this big shift that's coming. And all the other beings are also assisting in that. So the ascended masters, the spiritually and technologically advanced off-worlders, all of them are all connected, and they're all working together to get us through this planetary liberation process, this ascension process. And so it's so much more, but they want to keep it in the past. They want to keep it foreboding and dark. They want to really push the negative agenda, and it's sad because they want to keep it like, it's all German back engineering, or it's all Greys and reptilians abducting people, or it's all, they have all these, it's all government back engineering, stuff like that. Well, that's a really small piece of the pie. It is happening. It's all happening. But let's take the next step. Let's find out who they are, why they're here, what their cultures are, and have they been here in the past? And are they our ancient ancestors? A lot of them are, and they're returning, and they're the megalith builders, that built the pyramids and all those other massive structures that we still can't duplicate today.
Love it, love it, love it. James Gilliland is with us from Ascetti Ranch, one in Washington, and he's aloha out there in Hawaii right now, and seeing a whole lot of them up in the sky, flying by slowly or quickly, or would just kind of stutter a little bit and then go on is amazing. You got to see the video. Go to SETI.org to see more. Stay with us too. We're going to keep talking to them and take your phone calls too next hour here on Coast to Coast AM. We Connie are Willis back. Here. And I think we're going to take some calls here too this hour. At one point we will. So make sure you figure out what it is you want to ask James and do that. You're listening to Coast AM. Connie Willis here. I just recently had James on my show, Blue Rock Talk, and he zapped out everything. And James was on the show and he zapped my audio out. Then he zapped my video out. Was it ET, something else, or was it James going, it's my show now, I'm taking over? I never thought about it that way, James. Maybe that's what's going on. But anyway, you can find me at Blue Rock Talk. You can find me at Connie After Dark, and you can find me at Connie Willis, the podcast. To learn more, go to ConnieWillis.com, sign up for stuff, and have a good time. And, if you enjoy hearing me here, then you'll get me full blast over there, ConnieWillis.com. James Gilliland, who's we're talking to. James, I never thought about it that way. You are doing the zapping. It's James. You know what?
Yeah, I wish that was the case. Then I could control it, but it's out of my hands.
I would have said, "Hey, do this early on. I want to go grab a bite, and I'll be back. Nobody will know the difference." So you have actually abilities too. What are your strengths in the ability world and special talents?
Yeah, basically, I do a lot of counseling work. I love doing that, and I can go in and clear people's, wounds and traumas, childhood, past life, and hook them up with their own main teacher and guides, and things like that. We do transpersonal release sessions, and I love doing that. And then we do the you got to experience the healing circles that we do. And those are great. We've had all kinds of phenomenon happen there, like spontaneous healings and things. And then also I love doing Qigong and teaching people Qigong.
What's that?
What's that?
What's Qigong?
Qigong is a very, very ancient form, and it goes back. They traced it back to Tibet and China, and back to Atlantis and Lemuria times, Egyptian times. And you can see that a lot of the statues, they're actually doing the mudras and things of Qigong, which is but it's actually the original airbender, you might say, practices where you work with the earth and fire and water and air elements and merge with them. And it's amazing watching nature respond while you're doing the practices.
You know what? Let's see. Let me go ahead and I want to go ahead and find out all the information about you, because we're going to start taking phone calls. I'm going to start getting into more subjects deeper with you and vice versa. So let me go ahead and do a little bit here of where do people find you, just in case I don't want to miss that. Where can they find you? How do they hear you? And what's your favorite show that you do? As You Wish Talk Radio Live?
Yeah, that's a really good one. As You Wish Talk Radio on BBS is a really good one. It's on Saturday at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, but we also simulcast it on Rumble, and it goes on Telegram and True Social and all that. So it goes out on all the channels and VMO. And one of the things I'm really proud of, we just launched ESETI Stargate TV, and we have a lot of the speakers from past conferences on there. We have all the radio shows on there. We're still uploading footage on there of all the ships and everything. And I have some of my the self-mastery ambassador training courses on there that people can sign up for. And it's getting out to a lot of people, which is great. It's so hard for me to get out to everybody, and I know this is one way I can definitely reach a lot more people. Right here I've been working 24/7, basically. Trying to reclaim the mac nut fields and the coffee fields and everything back from the jungles and restore the house and everything. But it's most of that's pretty much done, so I can get back to more more work on doing more workshops and classes and things of that nature. And then I also do a lot of shows. I've been on shows where I had one woman. She came up with a rig that she was doing broadcasts and things, live broadcasts, and she had 9 D-cell batteries in her outfit there. Each one was just deader than a doornail, and she was really upset about it. I said, "Well, hand me your batteries." And so she handed them to me, and I talked to her about 10 minutes. And I gave them back to her, and all of them were fully charged. So it just shows you can transfer the energy. You can. This stuff is practical, and it does work.
Wow, that's pretty cool. Now I'm looking through your site right now. It's really beautiful. It looks really good. Me doing a website too. It's like, wow, that's a gorgeous website. And like ours on Coast, it really is a nice one. And I'm looking through it. There's so many new things I'm seeing in it. And I don't know how you have the time to do all this stuff. But one of the things that you have in here too, by the way, it's SETI.org, SETI.org. And I actually clicked on the SETI Stargate TV, and I'm switching down to that. And then I'm seeing what was actually on the first page too, which is the lion. And you had said there was something with the lion. Is it feline people or something that you talk about?
Yes. I've talked about them for years. And again, we've been doing this for 40 years, way before Avatar or any of the other things came out. But I actually had pictures of them and photographs. And there's 3 different types. There's humanoid feline beings, and then there's kind of panther beings, and then there's these upright lion beings. They're like 17 feet tall. And they're depicted in statues like Sekhmet. In India, they call them Narissa and Narsringa and things like that. So they're all throughout ancient history, and I experienced them firsthand, and I thought I was going nuts, and I said, this is crazy. Nobody's going to believe this. And so a lot of my experiences are all firsthand, and then I go do the research and find out that they did exist, and they're very well known in ancient cultures, and a lot of them are actually returning, and they were the protectors of the gods, the ancient Lyrians. But when they fell and they got into turf wars and things like that, they left. They said, you're breaking universal law, and we can no longer be a part of this. And they went back to Lyra and Sirius. Most of them are in Sirius right now.
When you saw them, was it with meditations or you saw them?
They would, in the healing circles and things, they would appear in the healing circles, and they would get people in touch with their own inner lion. They're not, it's really important. These beings are not to be worshipped. They don't want to be worshipped. They don't want you to start another religion around them or anything else. They just want to empower us to make our own personal connection with Creator, and you're going to meet them along the way. And you're going to meet some other things, too, that are going to try to disempower you and hijack your ascension process. So we kind of teach people who's who to work with, who not to work with, how to heal unseen negative influences, and just make sure, you're working with, really clear energy. And unfortunately, those safeguards aren't in place, because that's why you're having so much crazy stuff coming out of the channeling community, and a lot of other people, a lot of contactees are contacting things they probably shouldn't be. And we have a saying, just because you're dead doesn't mean you're enlightened, and just because you're an ET doesn't mean you're benevolent, so.
That's right.
Pay attention.
Speaking of contacting, now people still visit the SETI Ranch in Washington, and can they visit Hawaii yet?
No, Hawaii's still a work in process, and I don't know when we're going to start up on things. We're talking about, when and how and all the other stuff. So that's still a work in process. But in May, I believe we're probably in May or mid-May, we're going to open up ESETI in Washington, and we're kind of watching how things go, because it's very volatile right now, and with all the crazy stuff happening, and we're kind of just watching, testing the waters to see how much we want to do until we get through this phase. But we're going through a very volatile phase right now on the planet, and there's just a lot of things we'd like to avoid.
Yikes. Okay. I can ask you that question too, but I wanted to ask you something so I won't forget it. The video that you showed us and the pictures that you have on Coast, you got some shots of stuff that you sent us. And where can we see the video? I guess when we go on to aseti.org, what category would we go to see the video of all those?
Probably
Uh,
under UFO and videos. They might still be up on YouTube. We also have a lot of
ah,
footage up on
okay,
ECETI Stargate on YouTube, but we keep
okay.
getting, shot down off of that channel. So
Well, I was
they're
trying to
having
see.
issue
I'm
with
trying to
that.
see where to find it here. I'm not seeing. You're saying there's something that says UFOs.
Yeah, there should be if you hit those little brackets up there, it should open up. I know there's something we need to make it more accessible on the website because I have trouble finding it myself.
I'm like, where is it? I want to see it. Well, anyway, looking at that, you shot that through what was it? Third generation? Is that what? How'd you get
Yeah,
that?
it's
Beautiful.
called Night Gear, and it's third generation Night Gear, and it's hooked up to a Sony. I think it's a 550V or something. I'm pretty sure it's an older Sony, and it's nothing special, but it just works really good. And
Does.
and we also have some things we've shot through psionics, and we have the military third gen as well. That sometimes you would just put their iPhone up on that and get footage with it, but. I mean, you can definitely see them with your own eye, and a lot of people are getting things just on their iPhones. Right
Yes.
before I came to Hawaii, we had a ship. We had a really nice group there, and a ship came in really low and went right over the house, and they got great photos and videos just with their phones.
It's
But
amazing.
yeah, so you can. But I mean, with the night vision, you can see everything up there. It's anything that's lit up and moving, you've got it.
It's, one of the things that you had shot was interesting because years ago I was on the beach, Gulf of Mexico, Florida, and I'm looking up. I'm with someone else at the beach. I had a date and he was falling asleep in the chair, but I'm looking up in the sky like I would always do just about every night because I lived there. And I literally I saw so many different things. I just can't even go into it. But one of the things I saw was where there was one up in the sky and another one was just totally following it exactly. If it went left, it went left. If it went right, it followed it exactly. It was like paired. And you actually said, you actually had a clip of one doing the same thing on this
Yeah.
last reel that you put together. And you said, look at that. And man, you can pick them out of the sky, James. You were like, boom, right on. And you said, look at that. They're paired. They're going at the same rate, same speed. I, not only have I never seen that before, or no one's ever said it until you just did in your video, but I'm curious, what if that particular thing isn't one following it exactly because it stays at the same exact distance the whole time? I wonder if that maybe is some bigger ship and it's only white on both sides or something. Maybe it's only lit up on the ends or something. Maybe it's
Yeah,
a
it
big, huge
it
one.
could be. We've
Yeah,
actually filmed these massive triangle ships, and
it'd
all
be
you get is
massive. Yeah.
the corners. You get each corner, a light on each corner when they come over, and a lot of people. I know they tried to dismiss that once as this NOS satellite thing, and said there's
Yeah.
three ships tethered together. But unfortunately, I knew people that worked on that, and I showed them the footage, and they said, "Oh, that we took that down a long time ago. It didn't work." And they said that no way when I showed them the footage, and these are NASA people, and they said no way, that's nothing we have. That thing's massive, and it turned around and it went back the other way. So satellites don't do that.
I love when people see it in front of me, whatever it is that they're not supposed to see. When they see it, it's just so great to just be there
Yeah,
when their life changes right in front of them there. Let's
I love
let's
that.
go.
I love people having their own experience, and then they can't deny it.
Yes.
When the Danny Dyer came up, he went all over the world in search for UFOs, and he went to every group and came up empty. And then he came to ESETI and he said, I'm on UFO overload. He couldn't. And it really changed his life energetically. He sat through one of the classes, the Egon classes and workshops, and he came out and it's funny. He goes, I feel pissed. I don't know what, and that means you're drunk. You feel like you're drunk in England, you know. But it was the energy was so strong for him. He goes, this isn't what I bargained for. And then after that night, the ships just really put a show on for him. So. Paranormal State did the same thing. We told them exactly when and where the ships would appear, and then Chip Coffey, their psychic, also told them when and where. And we both said the same thing, not even talking to each other. And sure enough, the ships appeared exactly when and where we said they would, and they did get them on film. So, you know, there's some people that are really on the ball and know what they're doing, and then there's other people that are just running a controlled narrative, and they're just going to censor everything. It's sad.
Yep, we're talking with James Gilliland. He is with us here tonight on Coast to Coast AM. We're going to be taking your phone calls when we come back. James is recognized worldwide as the founder of the Gilliland Estate, which is commonly known as the ESETI Ranch, and that is enlightened contact with extraterrestrial intelligence. And that's where he documents and shares amazing multidimensional contact phenomenon, which can be viewed at the ESETI.org. You'll see a ton of stuff on there. And now he's doing it out of Hawaii. Why? Well, why not? And it's happening too. More to come with your phone calls too. I'm Connie Willis. Catch me at ConnieWillis.com and join my podcast, Connie Willis, the podcast, and more. ConnieWillis.com. In the meantime, thanks so much for being here. It's Coast to Coast AM. You're listening to Coast AM. Thanks for being here. Connie Willis with you, talking with James Gilliland, best-selling author, internationally known lecturer, minister, counselor, multiple near-death experiencer, contactee, and it goes on and on. And hey, you know, I always just enjoy talking to him. James, I'm going to jump on the phones. Is that good with you?
Sure.
Okay. Do you have anything else to say? Once we get into this, we're going to be into it. Do you have any last words? Because this is our last segment with you. Time flies.
Yeah. Basically, you need an open mind, you know, pure intent and loving heart, basically. And that's how you make contact. And if you focus on that love and joy and bliss and send it out to them, that's how you connect with the benevolent ones. And we also have a saying, too, is if you don't like what you're feeling, do a healing. So we teach people how to clear out any unseen negative influences and make sure you're working with the higher beings.
And now you can do a lot of that online now, right? You don't have to go see you in person. You can do that online.
Exactly. Yeah, that's available online, and the healing techniques are online too. All of that stuff. It's all free.
Oh, well, that was important to say. That's nice.
Especially the healing. It's really necessary right now to create sacred space, and there's a lot of people doing ceremonies and things like that and channeling, and they don't create that space first or clear their energy. So, you know, there is a lot of misinformation coming out now, and hopefully we can clear that up by doing some of these clearing techniques.
And so that's at the ESETI.org, and then go through the menus. And, there's one healing and clearing, and there's a clearing technique, and that's it. And some of the other ones in there.
Exactly.
Excellent. Okay. You've got so many years of information behind you. It's tough to put well, it's okay to archive it everywhere in your website, but it's hard for people to go through all that 40 years because there's so much. It's amazing. It's really good stuff.
Yeah, and that's just, 40 years is just the life of ESETI. I was doing things ever since I was a child. I've had contact. So you can imagine the amount of information, the different beings that we've connected with.
Jim James, he is 203 years old, just to let you all know. He's been around a while, and he looks 45. Let's go to Jim. That's why I said Jim on wild line number 3. Jim is out of Hawaii. Hey there, Jim. You're on the air. Welcome.
Hello, Connie. Hello, James. Technically,
Hi.
My name is James, too, but I go by Jim. But all my life, I believed that there's something else out there. Now I've seen satellites, I've seen the space shuttle, things like that. And on the 27th of December, this past, I saw I see a couple satellites already because I walk my dog right at dark. Well, just as it's getting dark, and the stars are coming out. And I saw a satellite go by, and then I saw another one, but this one was like 3-4 times brighter at least, and it was bigger, and it was moving a lot faster than a satellite does. And I was watching it. I'm on the Big Island. I live in Hawaiian Acres in Curtistown, and it came out of the west and headed kind of towards the north. And what was really strange about it, we've had a lot of clear nights, but there was a cloud, and I figured, okay, I'm going to lose sight of it after it goes behind the cloud. Well, it did not go behind the cloud. It went under the cloud.
Yeah.
And then about the 6th or 7th of this month, I was out looking, and I was looking at Mars, and then I saw a flash. I thought, well, I must have imagined that. And it was about, if Mars was the center of a clock, it would have been about 7 to 8 o'clock, below, just a bit below. And then I saw another flash on the other side about 5 o'clock. And I said, there, okay, now I did see it. I'm not imagining things. Then, straight out from the 5 o'clock one, looking at Mars, going to the right, there was a reddish kind of object, and it kind of trailed off into nothing.
Mm-hmm.
And I spoke to George and Bill about it. I think it was this past Friday. Bill from the Michigan MUFON, and he told me to get in touch with them. I haven't yet, but those are my first 2 UFOs after looking for over 60 years. I'm 67, so I've been looking since I was a kid. I've seen shooting stars. I've seen rockets launched from Vandenberg that went crazy. I've seen, satellites, the moons of Jupiter, the Orion Nebula. So I felt fortunate in that, but I never saw anything like these last 2 experiences.
How cool was that? Is he on the same island as you?
Yeah, exactly. And that's really common. We have so much footage that they usually flash first. And before the big ones come in, a lot of times they'll flash a couple times and then they power up and fly over to let you know they're there. And when they phase out like that, too, that's just they're powering down and going out of this dimension, basically. But that's real common. We have a lot of footage of that. And if I might make a suggestion, it's kind of rough. Some people, it's no problem. But if you can go out between 5 and about 6:15 in the morning right now, there's so much activity at those times. And it's coming from every direction. I can't really say one's more than another, but I sometimes I'll film at minimum of 5 to 10 ships, sometimes even more. Almost every morning it's clear I'll see something.
Excellent. Thanks so much, Jim. It's so nice that you're looking forever and ever and ever, and then you finally see them. It's so neat. And he's in the perfect spot to continue to see even more. And man, I hope you can hurry up and get that ranch all set up. So it sounds like Jim will definitely go over there and visit you at one point. Let's go to wildcard line number 5, JB out of Santa Monica. Hey, JB, welcome. You're on the air.
Hey, that's so great, and I love your bumper music. That was terrific.
Thanks.
And you are the best. I really enjoy whenever you have a chance to fill in. And James, I've been trying to reach out to you several times, and I've had no luck as far as going on the website or getting information back. So what I'd like to ask you is a couple of things. One, what is the nearest airport to your ranch so that I can fly in and rent a car? That's one. Number two, do I have to take a course, or can I just pay you for the camping space to camp out there? Because those two things would be really important to me, getting up there, say, May or June, and hopefully you'll be open.
Yeah, Portland Airport is the closest, and PDX. And also, too, yeah, you can come. We have some little cabins, and a lot of people camp out. It's really the best to camp out because you're always just staring up at the sky the whole time, and the energies on the land are very healing. You can actually feel the energy on the land. And sorry about not being able to communicate, because over at ECETI in Washington, we're down right now. All of our internet, we have two different sources of internet. Everything's down. We're having power outages and everything because of this ice storm that went through. And we're still not up yet. I think we're going to be up sometime in the middle of this week, and we'll be back online. But, I mean, poor Myra, who gets back to people, she's got a mountain of emails and to get back to, and phone calls and things like that. But we're just flying dark right now.
Yeah, I hope he gets a chance to go, JB. That's it is an interesting place. It was the time I went, yeah, I saw all these people camping and things. Like, wow, what's this all about? It was really cool. It was really fun, and I definitely enjoyed it. And I'm looking forward to the Hawaiian one. So hurry up and nail those nails into every piece of wood you need to nail it in. Let's see if we can take another quick phone call here. Oh, come on. We got to do this. We got to hit wildcard line number 1. Cornelius, what's going on? Do you have a quick question before we head out for the night?
Yeah. Look,
Hey.
I look like the last caller, Connie. And look, y'all beat them Texas Aggies bad. So UK, University of Kentucky beat them Texas Aggies. But you put a shock or a state of shock on me that Mick and Michael, boy, that was a great song.
Good stuff.
That's for you. But I want to say Big Jim in Hawaii, both of y'all Big Jims. Big Jim always shouts me out, the caller that was from Hawaii. But my question for you, Big Jim, with these evil entities and stuff, and you called on the name of Yahweh and stuff, what do you use for protection? Because we're getting into a dark time. I think we're in the end times and stuff like that. Connie Willis, God bless you, honey. Happy New Year to you. And we'll talk to you later.
All right. Take care. Take care. What's your answer to that, James?
Yeah, for protection, I work a lot with, I have a really good connection with Archangel Michael and Jesus, or Yeshua, some people call him, and Mary. Mary's been with me all my life because she saved me when I was 5 years old. I was dying in the hospital. But there's so many other beings, especially like the lion beings. When they come in, it's over with. They were the protectors of the gods, and they're very good at taking care of any greys or reptilians, or there's like serpent beings and other beings you just want to stay away from or get them out of your space. But those techniques are actually on the website, Healing Unseen Negative Influences, and you can work with Babaji or Kuan Yin or Yeshua or Mary or whoever you choose, whatever ascended master you choose. It transcends all religious and cultural programming, and it works. It's a very ancient technique. It's been around forever, and it always. I've never seen it not work. Sometimes you have to do 1 or 2 rounds because you'll clear some out, and then some more will come in, and so you just keep clearing until you feel clear. And I suggest people doing these clearings before you engage anything, even doing yoga or any other spiritual practices, meditation. Always clear first, and then that ensures that you get really accurate and clear information. And if the information doesn't feel right or the energy doesn't feel right, just stop and do a clearing again, and until you feel good. You feel good about the energies.
James, what's the end? What's the outcome? We just in a couple minutes, if you can tell us, because we're at the end of the show. But what's the end? What's the outcome for humans?
Yeah, basically, we're getting ready to take a quantum leap in evolution, and it's a natural process. It's been written about by all the ancients, and we're going through that process right now. And we're coming up to the end of tyranny, where tyranny is imploding and collapsing in on itself. They're not frequency specific to the Earth and its ascension process. So we're going to have some amazing things in the future, but we all got to do our part. All of this technology is kind of be coming out. We don't need people look at these cars like electric cars, and I said, you don't really need batteries. And as a matter of fact, you don't even need tires, because we've got anti-gravity and counter-gravity. So all that technology is already here. It's on the planet right now, and a lot of incredible healing technologies, but we just need to bring it out. And after the fall of tyranny, and it's in free fall right now, all of that's going to come out. And we're going to see how much we've been enslaved and how much we've been suppressed and held back. That's all going to come out too, and who did it, So there's a long history of suppression on the Earth, and that's all that information is going to come out. But a lot of cleanups going on, and some of it is outside of our pay grade. Yeah.
Excellent. Got to stop you. Time to go. Thank you so much. Okay. Thanks, James. Have a aloha. Have fun out there. James Gilliland.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Absolutely. ECETI.org. ECETI, ECETI.org. James Gilliland. Good stuff. Thanks to June Lundgren before that. If you enjoyed the show, let us know, please. From the foothills of the Colorado Rockies, Connie here saying many thanks to everybody that made this happen. Julie Talbot, Bill May, Lisa Lyon, Tommy Danheiser, Dan Galani, Stephanie Smith, Mike Cosio, Lex Lonehood, Sean Ledesur, Tim Banal, Gina Salvati, Donna Walker, thank you so much. Greg Foster, Ryan Stacy, Adam Thompson, Ryan, let's see here, Chris Burrows, so we got to get our team on, Ian Punnett, Lisa Garr, Richard Searett, George Knapp, and of course, George Norrie. That's the entire Coast to Coast AM team. So until we meet again, hey, catch me at ConnieWillis.com, the podcast, Blue Rock Talk and Connie After Dark. And besides all that, hey, look up in the skies. They're there. Keep watching the night skies and continue with me to seek out the strange and uncover the unknown for Coast to Coast AM. I'm Connie Willis. Good night.